All right, you two, this is Mr. Mean with part 3 of the speed paint. I promise, one more part and we're done. Uh, you might hear my son's toy in the background. I just picked him up from school. We got some painting done. So I started out with, to pick up from where I left off, I did I primed them in black, these dire undead wolves, whatever you want to call them, from Games Workshop, and then I spray painted them solid matte black. I let that dry, and then I gave them a zenithal highlight with like a bone white bone. It's a grayish white, pale gray. Did them a zenithal highlight, and then I hard dry brushed them with just a plain white by acrylics. Master Touch acrylics. And then I gave all the fur speed paint of the hardened leather. Now again, I dry brushed them white. A single coat, went pretty heavy on it. I felt pretty good about it. So you can see here is, he just broke him off his base. We'll get a different one. These ones didn't get any paint put on them. Here's one. Whoever had this before me went a little crazy on the glue, but you can see it's just the GW gray. I'm going to switch the camera around. Went to the GW gray, so you can see there's nothing special about it. It's pretty same. And then here is one that is, let's see, let me get it up here. Get these together, see if I can get them. There you go. So there you can see that's the first coat. It's drying. They do recommend you let this dry for at least a half an hour. So this is the one I just, that's the second one I painted. This is the last one I just painted. So you can see the paint still looks a little wet. I apologize for the camera, but it's my cell phone. But yeah, it's doing pretty good. So you can see I got most of the fur, all the skin there in the main torso and the legs. I'm going to paint a pallid bone, I think it's called. Yeah, so it's kind of it'll be like a undead, skin color, and then I might do some highlights on his head, and of course I'll go over with a white, and then probably some soft tone on his teeth, and his claws. But that's the last one I painted. Here's the first one. So this one has got to dry the longest, so you can see versus painted and unpainted, it's quite a difference. Pretty stark contrast. Let me turn these over and get a better look at them. You can see it's the fur actually looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. There's a skull on this guy, so I'm going to go ahead and paint that. And then there's my little tufts of fur on its hind legs and stuff, so I did those. And then, like I said, I'm going to do the pallid bone for all the actual flesh, the rotted flesh and everything. And then I might do a little bit of red right there. It looks like sinew sticking out, like his muscle. I might just do that in the blood red just to make it look like, it's a bloody wound. And then some white on the teeth. The eyes, most of the eyes are hollow, so there's not a whole lot to do there. I could probably put a neon bright green or bright yellow through the airbrush, but I'm not going to do it. I could, but I'm not. But all this like necrotic flesh here is just going to get that pallid bone on it. But hopefully that's coming out okay on the camera. And you can see that's the first speed paint. And I just got back from picking up my son at just after 4 o'clock, and I got him set up. He's playing with his toys, and I'm going to spin this camera around. Got him set up with his toys, got him all settled in, put on one of his favorite little TV shows. We don't let him watch a lot of TV, so it was a treat, and that gives me a little bit of time before Mama gets home to do some painting. So, again, under 15 minutes to get that much paint on those 3 miniatures, which normally would take me an hour minimum, because I got to get everything just right. But this stuff, it literally says to just slap it on. You want to be a little careful. It's basically paint by numbers. You want to stay within the line. So in this case, I wanted to stay in where the fur is and not go outside of that. So I didn't get any of his flesh or any on his skull. And I'm pretty happy with it. I got to say, that's pretty quick. I mean, it took more time to set up the airbrush and, thin the paint and everything to get it ready. I probably should do myself a favor and buy some thinned airbrush paints for like base coating and stuff like that. But that Master Acrylic series paints is so cheap, and once you thin it down, it's wonderful. I always forget the mixture, so what I need to do is probably pre-mix some and keep it in a little squirt jar. I've got some extra pots, eyedropper pots that I could actually mix some up and just keep it, and then use it in the airbrush that way after a good mixing with some steel balls in there to keep it agitated. And of course I have my cool little paint agitator here. It's battery rechargeable, so you don't even have the cable hanging off your desk or anything like that. It works great. So yeah, that's it, man. That's part 3 of the Slap Chap. I'm pretty excited with it. I'm not going to do another video until I'm finished. Like I said, I'll do the pallid flesh for all their skin and their bone. I have some necrotic flesh, and I have some bone white. I haven't decided which one will look better, but I might do a minor little dry brush with that on their skulls, because their skulls literally have no meat on them. They're just skulls, as you can see. Well, there's a little bit there, I guess. So yeah, so we'll see. I'll play it by ear. It's really a matter of how much I want to go through it. I don't really have a use for these miniatures. They were just cheap, and I wanted to try on something that I didn't care if I messed it up. It's kind of more of a learning experience. And then I'll move on to, I actually have this werebear guy that I got off of Etsy, and his axe broke in shipping. So I don't really have anything to do with that, but I really like him. He's got a nice little stand that he goes on. He's got a nice little stand that he sits on. So I'm gonna airbrush that. Maybe later tonight, I don't know, I'll give it a try, and I'll try the Slap Chap painting, because that's mostly all brown with a couple leather shots. I might even go crazy and make him like a polar bear, do him white, like an Arctic white, and then his leather straps and everything and his armor will really stand out. And then do a light dry brush of like a whitish gray to, his dirty skin. And so, I don't know. I haven't decided. But so far, I gotta say, I'm pretty enamored with this Slap Chop. I've got 3 miniatures. I mean, to be honest, they're good enough to go right now. I could put a soft tone coat on there of the Army Painter, like a purple. Well, I wouldn't use purple tone, but I could do a soft coat or even a red tone on his flesh. I might even try that and just see how it goes. But the big thing is with these speed paints, from everything I've read and I've watched, is you have to let them dry. So I'm going to let these dry for a little bit, and I'll come back to them later tonight after the wife gets home and can help me with the little guy, because he needs some attention. He's been at school all day, so I want to hang out with him for a little bit. But I hope you guys are enjoying this. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe. Let me know if you want to see more miniature painting stuff. I really enjoy doing this, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, like and subscribe, support the channel, Patreon, all that fun stuff. You guys know the deal. And as always, peace and hair grease, and remember, be nice.